It's Mrs. Jones here with another fine motor activity to do to strengthen your hands and fingers while we're away from school. I wanted to use a couple things that you can find around the house. Today I grabbed some rubber bands. If you don't have these, maybe some ponytail holders. If you have any of those laying around, don't steal from your sisters. Make sure you ask. Tell them you'll give them back. So I have a couple rubber bands. I also grabbed one of my daughter's action figures. And so this is really fun to use and probably have it laying around the house. You could use a Barbie doll. You could use a little stuffy animal if you wanted to, or you could use a car. That would be fun. And I also have a can that I pulled out of my pantry. This is Sloppy Joe Mix. Could be anything, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna get started here in just a second. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this up. And you might wanna have your grown-up do this for you, or your babysitter, or maybe an older brother or sister. So I'm just going to kind of wrap them up. It doesn't really matter how you do it. We're working on stretching these bands with your small fingers. I have big grown-up fingers. So it doesn't take me as long, which is good, because then you guys can get started. Oh my gosh, poor Flash, look at this guy. He's a mess. Ah! I think that's just 4 or 5 rubber bands. I wasn't counting. So then, once you're grown up, or you're a helper, or your babysitter, or friend, or whoever gets this guy all wound up and caught, then you can rescue him. You get to be the superhero. So all you're gonna do is, you gotta figure out how to get him undone. Sometimes your rubber bands will catch. So if I want to pull this rubber band off, it's not going to work because there's one on top. So I have to be a super problem solver, and I have to figure out that this rubber band needs to come off first. There we go. Oh, and it's still tucked in there. So now I got to get a couple more off of here. Look, green. Ugh, my green one. He was the key there. Now the red one will come off. It looks like maybe just one more. Oh man, he's really wound up. Ta-da! I rescued him. Pretty fun. Oh, his head's backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, if you don't have a action figure, that's okay. We'll just use what we have. You could use a can, like I brought. You could use a bottle of water. Anything really that's kind of got some weight to it. You don't want to do something that's really light, like an empty toilet paper roll. Although you could. You could. I think it's easier when it's a little bit heavier. It doesn't slide away so easily. You're going to work with 2 hands on trying to get this rubber band around this can. Okay, now I like when I have rubber bands that are all different sizes, but since we're home and we can't leave right now, I just have one size. So we'll make do. I'm gonna try to get all my rubber bands on. These activities are really great to help strengthen your fingers and your hands, which doesn't sound very important, but we use our fingers and hands all the time. To use our silverware, to button our coats, to do our schoolwork. We use them to help our families. We use them to tie our shoes. We use them to play Legos and video games, but video games is not an exercise. So once you get all your rubber bands on, then you can pass it to your brother or sister, or your babysitter, or your grown-up that's with you right now. And you can see if they can get them off. Maybe have a race, see who can get the most off the fastest. If you're using rubber bands and you're all done with this exercise and you're using a can or a water bottle, you know, you could do some really cool art with this just the way it is right now. So I have all of my rubber bands right there on my can. And I am going to, I could roll it in some paint. I didn't bring paint because I didn't plan on doing that part. So I'm going to roll it in some paint, and then I will grab a piece of paper and just roll it down the paper. I made it look like a little person trying to balance. And then you can make a really cool picture with lots of funky, groovy lines on it. And that just could be a fun way to spend the afternoon. So leave a comment in the bottom under the video and tell me, how many rubber bands did you get? Who did you save? What did you use? Did you have a flash too, or did you find something else fun to do? Did you use ponytails or did you have rubber bands? Tell me all about it. I can't wait to hear it, and until next time, keep working.